Radhe Radhe everyone. Today we are going to watch a video about Shri Radha Rani's Chhathi by Jagadguru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj, and it's translated by Bhajan Didi from Shri Kripalu Ashram, Canada. My humble pranams to my Divine Master's Divine Lotus feet for giving the world the precious treasure of knowledge about Shri Radha, and not only the knowledge, but he has given the world the precious treasure of beautiful forms of Shri Radha for all of us to meditate upon, along with the Leelas, virtues, names, abodes, and forms. Leelas, etc. Along with me, you all can bow down to my Divine Master's Divine Lotus feet, and let's all pray together to follow his instructions in our daily life and to put into practice to get rid of this material sufferings and to walk in the path of God realization and to walk in the path of bhakti. One who does not trust the word of his Guru cannot attain bliss even in a dream. One who loves the lotus feet of a Guru is blessed in the world and beyond. Without the assistance from Guru, even the likes of Lord Shankar and Creator Brahma cannot cross the ocean of Maya. In a nutshell, experiential evidence, logic, and philosophy, all these have to be used to grow devotion to Guru and God. That is the only way to rise above all pain and suffering. In the medical field, one drug cures a couple of diseases, and for curing other diseases, one needs to take other medicines. Those medicines might react with each other, causing more trouble for the patient. Unlike those medicines doing what the scriptures and saints have asked us to do, cures all types of pains, loneliness, sadness, depression, anxiety, loss of wealth, loss of health, and any other pain that can be there. So encourage your mind in devotion to treat all physical and mental diseases of present and past. This will cure all the ills in the present, and such is the cure that no ills can ever return in the future. I would like to share about Prema Siddhant, the Philosophy of Divine Love book. You can buy this in Amazon. Prema Siddhant is perhaps the most powerful book of spiritual literature on God realization ever written. This treasure of divine knowledge has been revealed by Jagadguru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj, who has answered the most basic questions for every human being. What is true happiness and how can it be attained? Through the authority of the Vedas and other Hindu scriptures, Jagadguru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj has meticulously reconciled all seeming scriptural contradictions. In so doing, he has made accessible the most profound spiritual wisdom by using great simplicity, clarifying perfection for the benefit of every soul. Though divine knowledge is limitless, this incomparable work has analyzed it beautifully with great precision, revealing the subtle aspects of important subjects such as the aim of human life, the nature of God, soul, and the world, surrender and divine grace, secrets of dissension, the path to attain God, karma, bhakti yoga, practical devotion, and the nature of bad association. Taking the help of his wonderful logic and innate ability to simplify the most complex concepts, now any person can understand the deepest spiritual subjects with relative ease. This book will continue to inspire and guide sincere and aspiring devotees worldwide towards the ultimate goal of God realization, a must for every spiritual aspirant. So you all try to buy this book, okay? Prem Ras Siddhant. You can browse in JKP Literature online shop. In Amazon also now it's we can buy. And don't forget to share with your friends as well, yeah? Okay, let's start lecture. This is a short lecture by Jagadguru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj Ji on the occasion of Radha Rani's Chhathi. Okay. Today is the festival of Radha Rani's Chhathi, the 6th day after Shri Radha Rani's birth. Only very few people know who is Radha Rani. There are 3 entities, Brahm, Jiv and Maya. Brahm is the impersonal aspect of Lord Krishna, where only a few of his potencies are manifested. It does not have any name, form, attributes, pastimes or abodes. Brahm is a personality which merely reflects the identity and bliss of God. So the impersonal Brahm is actually of no help to us. We need a master who should be like us. He should have a personal form like us. He should have attributes like being merciful. He should have sweet pastimes as well. And Shri Krishna is the personal form of Brahm. It is well known to everyone that Shri Krishna is the Supreme Lord, Paramatma, Brahm. He has countless names, countless forms, but who is Shri Radha Rani? With every personal form of Lord, there is one goddess's name associated like Lakshmi Narayan, Parvati Shankar, Brahmani, Brahma, Indrani, Indra, and so on. Similarly, the name of Radha Krishna is also very powerful, is also very popular. Then it is that saying Radha Krishna is the same as saying Sitaram, Lakshmi Narayan, Parvati Shankar. No, it's not. Sita is the wife of Lord Ram, Lakshmi is the wife of Narayan, Parvati is the wife of Shankarji, Brahmani is the wife of Brahma, but Radharani is not the wife of Shri Krishna. She is his proprietress. Lord Krishna worships Radha Rani. On the other hand, Shri Ram doesn't worship Sita. Shankarji doesn't worship Parvati. But Shri Krishna is the devotee of Radha Rani. Very few people know this fact. The Supreme Lord Krishna has innumerable potencies. His Maya has countless universes, and his Yogamaya too has innumerable Vaikunthas. Each descension of the Lord has his own divine abode where Maya cannot enter. Those abodes are known as Paravyam Dham. In the area of Maya, there are countless universes, and among those countless universes, we are sitting in one of the universe. This is the smallest universe. Brahma, the creator of this universe, has 4 faces. Likewise, there are infinite universes. There are 10-headed Brahma, 100-headed Brahma, 1,000-headed Brahma, billion-headed Brahma, and the size of this universe is proportional to the number of heads. Each universe has 3 governors, Brahma, Vishnu and Shankar. Just like in our India, there are different governors in different states. Similarly, there are infinite Brahmas, Vishnus and Shankars. One might probably count the dust particles of the entire planet Earth, but he can never count the number of universes. So there are distinct Brahma, Vishnu and Shankar for the different universes. However, these Brahma, Vishnu and Shankar are not under the influence of Maya. They are governors of the abodes of Maya, material abodes. Above these 3 governors is Mahavishnu, who is a part of Shri Krishna. All of them, Brahma, Vishnu, Shankar and the governor Mahavishnu, are Lord Krishna's servants. They are devotees of Shri Krishna and hence subservient to him. Nothing is beyond Shri Krishna. There are 3 intimate potencies of Lord Krishna. Intimate means personal, like the state governors, etc., have their personal assistants. Similarly, the Supreme Lord Krishna too has 3 intimate energies: Sat, existence, Chit, knowledge, and Anand, bliss. So, God is often known as Satchidanand, one who is eternal, all-knowing and ever blissful. Well, the Sat potency is the inferior among these 3. Higher than this is the Chit potency, and Anand potency is the highest. That's why God is sometimes referred to as simply Anand. Sanskrit verse. Sat and Chit is not mentioned here. God is simply Ananda, bliss, because Chit and Chat are automatically implied in Anand. Somewhere God is termed as Chitanand, mentioning only Chit and Anand, and elsewhere mentioning all the three. He is called Satchidanand. So, Ananda, the potency of bliss, is the highest of all. It is due to this potency only that God remains ever blissful. This whole world is a mess, and God resides within everyone. He keeps on noting our dirty ideas. All of us think of sin only. There are in fact few saints only, like Tulsidas, Surdas, Meera, Kabir, Nanak, Tukaram, Shankaracharya, Nimbragacharya, who contemplate, and other saints who contemplate on good thoughts. God feels pleased noting those few saints' thoughts only, as they are his worthy children. Rest of all his children are worthless, filled with unfavorable thoughts against each other, considering oneself as good or considering others as bad, filled with attachment, hatred, jealousy, animosity, and so on. Even in one's own home, a person fluctuates between favorable and unfavorable emotions towards one's own parents, siblings, spouses, or children. God keeps on noting these all. Such dirty is this job. That too without any wages or without being told to do so. But still, God never gets bored due to this Anand potency and remains ever blissful. Generally, we have a family of a few members only. Nevertheless, we always remain upset due to one or the other reason. Today, the wife is in a bad mood, or the father of the son is in a bad mood, or the father or the son is in bad mood. So we have to appease them. We are so disturbed and going crazy, even if he is a millionaire or billionaire. Everyone is mentally disturbed within a family of 4, 6, or 10 members. But God has such a big family, and all of us, His children, are filled with dirty, sinful thoughts. Nevertheless, God remains ever blissful while noting all these thoughts. He never gets tensed, but we people often experience tension, depression, and what not. We don't normally say it openly. You are bad, I am tired of you, to our parents, spouse, or children. Though at times we say so, but we constantly think of these things like, oh, I got such a wife, or such a son, or such a father, but we never think how we ourselves are. We considered others to be selfish, but what about you? Unless and until the individual soul attains God, he cannot attain bliss. And until he attains that godly bliss, he is selfish. Other than that, what else do we do around the clock? We constantly do planning and practice to fulfill our self-interest. What should I do? Which pleases me? I want some money from my mother. So how do I fool her? We speak lies to our parents, spouse, children, and neighbors to accomplish our work and fulfill our self-interest, so that we can attain happiness. But infinite lives have passed. Still, we have not yet attained that happiness, peace, even though we have attained everything else. We have attained parents, spouse, children, wealth. We have been billionaires, but we have not attained happiness. Everyone is a beggar. So, when we attain the bliss potency of the Lord or on God realization, we too would become like Him. Just see, Prahlad got married after God realization, begot children, ruled the entire planet Earth for many years, but he remained ever blissful because he had already attained that bliss potency of the Lord. He never suffered any kind of tension. Lord Krishna married 16,108 princesses, and each of his wives had 10 children, then again their children. So the Lord had a family of billions, but surprisingly, all those children and grandchildren went astray. So the Lord exterminated all of them by getting them into a fight. Nevertheless, he kept smiling. On the other hand, if our child gets a bruise accidentally, we become so restless. Well, like butter is the essence of milk, similarly, the essence of the bliss potency of the Lord is known as Hiladini Shakti. It is the most private potency of the Lord. Again, like ghee, clarified butter is the essence of butter. Similarly, the essence of Hiladini potency is called Prem, divine love. It is this Prem which was attained by Tulsidas, Surdas, Meera, Kabir, and so on. However, we use this term prema, love, in this worthless material world too. We claim of loving our parents, spouses, etc. Do we really know the meaning of love? Love means to give, and only give. And never think of taking. And what is our motive? Only to take and take. We never ever think of giving anything. Even if the spiritual master tells us to give money for the Lord's temple, we say, "Oh Master, please don't ask for money. It is my most adorable darling." We can ask for anything else, though our mind is most attached to our wealth because the whole world is under the control of wealth. So, Hilarani Shakti is the most important of all potencies of the Lord, whose ultimate essence is the divine love. It is attained on God realization through the Guru when the mind becomes sent person pure. That is, when our mind is freed from all the material things like parents, spouse, child, children, wealth, pride, and so on. When the room of our mind becomes empty, then God raises us through the Guru who gives us the divine love. The Lord himself becomes subordinate to the divine love. You might have read about the gopis who had enslaved the Lord on the power of prem. Well, Prem is the greatest of all spiritual powers. Again, this Prem too has different classes. First is the Prema Bhakti, higher than this is a Snake Bhakti, then Man Bhakti, then Pranaya Bhakti, then Rag Bhakti, then Anurag Bhakti, then Bhav Bhakti, and finally Mahabhav Bhakti. This Mahabhav Bhakti was attained by the gopis. It is not attained by every saint. It was not attained even by the queens of Dwarika. Only Shri Krishna and the gopis have attained this Mahabhav. Mahabhav is also of two types, Rud Mahabhav and Adirud Mahabhav, of which latter is best. Against Adirud Mahabhav is also of two types, Madan and Modan. These two are the highest classes of Prem. However, Shri Krishna can only reach till Modan, whereas the stage of Madana, Madanakya Mahabhav is reserved only for Radharani. That is why Shri Krishna serves Radharani as her servant. There was a Muslim devotee of Shri Krishna named Rashkan. He had a doubt in the culture of Hindus. A faithful wife is supposed to massage the feet of her husband. Then how is it that Shri Krishna is massaging Radhika's feet? Rashkan had an idea that Radharani was Shri Krishna's wife. So when the Lord blessed Rashkan with his divine vision, he saw the Lord massaging Radharani's lotus feet, and Lord enlightened him that Radhika was not his wife. Kamla, Rama, Lakshmi, Rukmini, and so on are his wives, and they massages his feet. So Radharani is Shri Krishna's soul. He worships Radha. So I hope you people have comprehended who Radharani is. Such exalted is her position that the greatest of all of saints chant Radhe Radhe, Radha Rani ki Jai. See how amazing, right? Now I am going to read about Shri Radha, okay, from Bhakti Shadak. There is only one supreme entity that has no equivalent, that is Shri Radha. The Supreme Lord Shri Krishna is in fact the other inseparable, non-different form of her. It is of primary importance for an aspirant to know who Shri Radha is. It is not possible to know any divine entity with our limited material senses, mind and intellect. So there is no question of knowing Shri Radha, who is supreme. Even Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, who is not different from Shri Radha, cannot gauge the depth of her glory. A Rasika saint says, the greatest treasure of my life is the sweet name of Shri Radha. Even Shri Krishna cannot know her glory, although he assumes countless forms to sing her praises. However, it is imperative to both understand and to attempt to explain this entity to the extent that is possible. All the Vedas directly or indirectly describe only the glories of Shri Radha. A curiosity arose in the minds of some realized saints as to why devotion is practiced exclusively to Shri Radha, excluding other divine powers. A brilliant light manifested in response to this question. This effulgence was, in fact, the Vedas in personified form. They said Shri Radha is the origin of all divine powers and she empowers all gods and goddesses. Therefore, even we, the eternal source of divine wisdom, reverentially bow before her. All great divine powers are subservient to her and tremble in fear, lest she be displeased with them. The Supreme Lord Shri Krishna himself fearfully keeps watch out for the slightest raise of Shri Radha's eyebrows in an attempt to know her desire and then serve her accordingly. The Vedas continued, be the Vedas and the 6 Hindu schools of thought, Sakya, Yoga, Vedanta, Nyaya, Vaisheshika and Mimamsa, cannot gauge the depth of Shri Radha. That is to say, we cannot give a full exposition. We simply offer our humble obeisance, bowing to her to refer the revered deity of Nanda Nandana, who is dearer to him than his own life, and the one who grants utter fearlessness to surrendered souls. We offer our salutations to Shri Radha, whose very foot dust, the embodiment of bliss, Brajanandanandana reverentially applies to his forehead during the Rasa Leela, and whose all-encompassing love makes him forgetful of his flute, staff, and other divine ornaments, which are actually divine personalities. In fact, he is enslaved by the love of Shri Radha. We all bow to her. The Lord of Love, Shri Krishna, becomes so totally enraptured in the supreme bliss of a loving embrace that he forgets his own infinitely blissful form as well as his divine abode Goloka. We bow to that supreme divine power Shri Radha, who is the origin of all great powers such as Mahalakshmi and Parvati etc., who are merely partial manifestations of her. The word Radha itself proves the supremacy of Radha Tattva. The root word of Radha in Sanskrit, according to sage Panini's grammar, means the supreme deity worshipped by all. The Veda states the Supreme Absolute Lord Shri Krishna, who is worshipped by the entire universe consisting of countless Brahmanandas, and even by the governors of all these Brahmanandas such as Brahma etc. He himself always worships Shri Radha. Thus the supremacy of Radha Tattva is indisputably established. Apart from this, there are descriptions of Radha Tattva in a number of Vedic mantras. The conclusion is that Shri Krishna alone is the Lord of all lords, but Shri Radha is worshipped by the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna himself. Shri Krishna declares in the Brahmananda Purana, I only worship Shri Radha. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Let's all, after we came to know about the glories of Shri Radha, let's all practice to meditate upon her beautiful forms along with Shri Krishna, and let's all chant the divine name Shri Radhe. Radhe Shyam, Radhe Radhe, any names which you like, you can chant along with the meditation. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, the darling daughter of King Banu. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, whose eternal abode is the divine Vrindavan. I am protected by Radha Rani, who performs Ras in Vrindavan. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, whose body sheds nectar from each and every pore. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, whose lotus feet are served by beloved Krishna. I am under the protection of Shri Radha Rani, whose foot as Shri Krishna applies reverentially on his forehead. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, who is reverently received by Shri Krishna. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, on whose lotus feet Shri Krishna places his crown. I am protected by Radha Rani, whose unmatched beauty of Shri Krishna beholds, and beholding it loses consciousness. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, who is glorified by beloved Krishna. I am under the protection of the one whose name Shri Krishna chants through the notes of his flute. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, who is always served by beloved Krishna. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, through whose grace Shri Krishna has become the greatest Rasik. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, who perform ever new pastimes in Vrindavan. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, who is always accompanied by 8 Mahasakis. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, whom beloved Krishna does not tire of glorifying. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, whose complexion is golden. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, whose eyes are full of nectar. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, whose eyes are naturally black. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, whose eyes have a reddish hue in them. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, who has an innocent smile on her lovely face. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, whose intoxicated walk puts the intoxicated walk of an elephant to shame. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, who is lovingly called Raseshwari by Rasik saints. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, whose arati is performed by Shri Krishna. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, who performs ever new pastimes in Braj. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, who mercifully embraces sinful souls. I am under the protection of Radha Rani, whose merciful nature far surpasses that of Shri Krishna. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. This is from Brajaras Madhuri book. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channels, Jagadguruttam lectures, Jagadguru Kripalu YouTube channels, and don't forget to download the apps Kripalunidhi and Sanatana Vedic Dharma apps. In one stop you can get all kirtans, lectures, etc. etc. Then don't forget to share with your friends and relatives as well. Books as well you can browse. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. We'll catch you all soon with another video. Radhe Radhe.